When you think of dinosaurs, what comes to mind? Giant, scaly monsters with huge teeth, locked in a never-ending battle for survival, right? We see them as mindless killing machines, roaring and stomping through a brutal, primitive world. But what if that picture is incomplete? What if, beyond the roar and the hunt, there was a softer side? What if some of the most fearsome creatures to ever walk the earth were actually devoted parents? Could a Tyrannosaurus rex, the so-called king of the dinosaurs, have gently cared for its young? The evidence we're uncovering is painting a startlingly new picture of prehistoric life, one filled with unexpected tenderness and complex family dynamics. Let's travel back in time, not just to see the fights, but to peek into the nurseries of the ancient world. Our first stop is a place in Montana, a fossil site that completely changed how we view dinosaurs. Here, paleontologists discovered vast nesting colonies belonging to a duck-billed dinosaur, aptly named Maiasaurus, which literally means good mother lizard. These weren't just scattered eggs. This was a prehistoric maternity ward. The nests were evenly spaced about 7 meters apart, roughly the length of an adult. Maiasaurus suggesting these animals nested together in huge communities, much like some seabirds do today. Inside these nests, scientists found more than just eggshells. They found the fossilized remains of baby Maiasaura, some of them too large to be freshly hatched, with worn-down teeth. This was a bombshell. It meant the young weren't just hatching and running off. They were staying in the nest, and their parents or perhaps the entire community were bringing them food. The babies were altricial, meaning they were born helpless and required significant care to survive, just like human babies or baby birds. This discovery of Maiasaura nesting grounds was the first solid evidence that dinosaurs weren't just laying eggs and leaving them to fate. They were actively raising their children. This communal living and care also offered protection in numbers, a prehistoric neighborhood watch against predators. This idea of parental care wasn't limited to the gentle herbivore. Let's look at a dinosaur that for decades had a terrible reputation. Its name means egg thief, because the first fossil was found on top of a nest of what were thought to be Protoceratops eggs. For years, Oviraptor was depicted as a sneaky villain, preying on the next generation. But then, a groundbreaking discovery in the 1990s changed everything. Scientists found more Oviraptor skeletons in the exact same brooding position, crouched protectively over nests. And when they examined the eggs inside, they found tiny Oviraptor embryos. The so-called egg thief wasn't stealing eggs at all, it was a devoted parent, sheltering its own clutch, likely dying in a sunstorm while trying to protect its unhatched young. This was a dramatic rehabilitation of a dinosaur's character, proving that even smaller bird-like theropods were dedicated parents. The evidence for parental care goes even deeper. We have fossils of another small carnivore, Trudon, found sleeping on its eggs, just like a modern bird. This posture suggests they were incubating their eggs, using their body heat to keep them warm. And what about the biggest predator of them all, the T? While we don't have a fossil of a T-Rex sitting on a nest, it was probably too heavy. We do have clues from its closest living relatives, bears and crocodile. Both are fiercely protective parents. Crocodiles guard their nests and even carry their hatchlings to water in their mouths. Birds, the direct descendants of dinosaurs, show an incredible range of parental care. It stands to reason that their ancient ancestors shared some of these instincts. Furthermore, Fossil trackways footprints preserved in ancient mud tell stories of how these animals lived. In some locations, we find large adult footprints alongside a variety of smaller ones, all moving in the same direction. This isn't a random jumble of creatures. It's a snapshot of a family or a social group on the move. Imagine a herd of Triceratops, with the massive, horned adults forming a defensive ring around the smaller, more vulnerable juveniles as a predator approaches. This wasn't just instinct, it was a strategy. These trackways and bone beds, where animals of all ages died together, suggest that young dinosaurs were integrated into the herd, gaining protection from the entire group. This is social behavior, and at its core is the drive to protect the next generation. Why would parental care be so important in this dangerous world? Well, it's a huge evolutionary advantage. Raising young successfully means your genes get passed on. For a large dinosaur like an Argentinosaurus, which hatched from an egg maybe the size of a football, the journey to adulthood was incredibly perilous. Without protection, a baby sauropod would be an easy snack for any predator. But if it was part of a herd, sheltered by giants that could shake the ground with a single step, its chances of survival shot up. The parents, and perhaps even the wider community, so to speak, were investing in the future of their species. This idea of alloparenting, where others help raise the young, is common in intelligent, social animals today, like elephants and meerkats. Finding evidence for it in the Mesozoic era is truly remarkable. So, when we piece all this evidence together, the nesting colonies of the vindicated oviraptor protecting its nest, the fossil trackways of families traveling together, and the behaviors of their modern relatives. Conclusion is clear. The instinct to care for young was likely widespread among dinosaurs, from the gentle giants to the terrifying tyrants. This understanding transforms them from one-dimensional monsters into complex, dynamic animals. It bridges the vast gap of time, connecting their parental instincts to the birds in our backyards and the crocodilians in our rivers. The legacy of prehistoric parenthood is all around us. It reminds us that care, protection, and tenderness are not modern inventions. They are ancient, powerful forces of evolution that have shaped life on Earth for hundreds of millions of years. The world of the dinosaurs was indeed brutal, but it was also a world filled with families. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoy this journey back in time, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the mysteries of the past.